Good morning, everyone. We have some show and tell today, and then Mona is going to be on at 10 o'clock doing a demonstration. So hopefully you'll hang out until then. So we'll let everybody sign on. Kim, how you doing? Hopefully she's feeling better. I'm hopefully on the upswing, so I think, what time did I fall asleep yesterday? 7. Mark said 7. I fell asleep at 7, woke up at 10 o'clock, then went back to sleep at 11, probably like 10:30, 11. Kind of woke up at 3:30, ran to the bathroom, went back to sleep until 8. So I am definitely getting a lot of rest. So I know a lot of you guys are concerned, but when I do go home, I hit the couch, my chair, and I'm done for the day, and I do rest. So I think, what's that? Probably a good 9, maybe 10 hours of sleep. So, and I think what killed me the other day was I went outside calling Sadie to come back home. She has a tendency, she likes to wander across the street and visit Jackson, the black lab across the street. So she moseys over there, and then she goes up to their front door, and then she pees in their yard, and she just kind of like wanders all over as if that's her second home. So I had to go outside and try to wrangle her back home, and that's where I think my voice was kind of gone. Like, I should have not done that. But anyways, so thank you, Dave. So I have my water in hand. So we're going to just kind of get started. These are like little sneak peeks. This, I believe it's this Thursday, is the Lawn Fawn release. So these are some of the samples of things to come that we did in a class a couple weeks ago. So these are just little kind of peeks of what you'll see available. So I'll probably be doing a Facebook Live on Thursday morning to share all the new Lawn Fawn. So we were allowed to show sneak peeks, but that's about it. So we have to wait until Thursday to actually see the product at hand. Okay. And just because these past couple weeks have been a little bit like out of the norm for me, I don't remember kind of what I showed, if I didn't show this or whatever. So there might be some duplications, but just bear with me. We do have new stuff. But in that 2 weeks of classes, we actually had to take a class from Simon Hurley. And we got a chance to use some of his inks, and we got a chance to use some of his lunar paste, which I didn't get around to doing until last week, but I want to share some of the colors with you. What I do like, I love the brightness of his colors, and they are a dye ink. So they're not hybrid, they're not oxide and so on. They are a dye ink, and they are very bright and very vivid. And these pastes are the same. They're very bright and very vivid. So you can see right now I have in stock silver, gold, and then we have prom queen. And the cool thing about their lunar paste, they coordinate with his ink pads, which I found was rather interesting. So probably Monday or Tuesday, we're going to be getting the lunar paste in tropical mango, overzealous, triple berry, shooting star, and a couple others. So we'll have those coronating pastes in stock. But what I was really excited, and I don't know if I had a chance to show you these, are our new stencils. We have 3 new buffalo stencils. This is an old one that we just had replenished. So that's the first buffalo stencil, the big design. And then we have these 3 designs now. And so with the small one, I did like a little mini rainbow. But on this one, I used dye ink pads, and I probably didn't have enough strength to do them very intense. So maybe an oxide would have worked better. But you can kind of see the colors that you'll get from this one. On this one, which I really love, I did use dye, and I did use the Lost Shadow. I didn't use oxide, but I did the Lost Shadow Gray, which I really love. And this is a random buffalo design. So these are a couple of the samples. This is where I want to show you. The background was inked with the Prom Queen, and then I did the lunar paste in the Prom Queen on top. And I haven't decided how I want to finish this card off, but I really love the paste and I love the inks. So you get that monochromatic, kind of look. So that's still a thought in process. On this one, I did the random buffaloes on white cardstock with the Prom Queen. And then this was one of the dies that we got in from Concord and 9th. And just to show you that it doesn't have to be Valentine's. It could have been given for Valentine's, but it could be given any time of the year. So those are the new buffalo stencils. And we actually have coming in another, I think our buffalo stamps are coming in. So we'll have those to show you. I got a shipment notice, so I'm hoping that's what it is. Now these were some new stencils. We're finding that umbrellas are like the thing right now. A lot of companies are doing umbrellas. And maybe out west, the weather is they're kind of spring and it's raining a lot, but not so much here. Well, we're having a mixed bag of everything. But anyways, we have this cute little duck, which could be used on baby cards too. So I'm sure along the way we'll have a little sample of this done up. And then we have this kind of assorted umbrellas with rainbows and clouds and sun, so you get a lot of parts and pieces. And then we have the bigger rainbow, and that's a very popular idea for baby showers and wedding showers. People are looking for umbrellas. And in here you can see you have different parts and pieces. You can decorate the umbrellas in different patterns, and you have a bunch of different flowers. And here is a card that we made in one of our classes. So on this particular one, we used the solid base of the umbrella, and we used the polka dotted dies and created that polka dotted version, and then die cut a lot of these little sprigs and flowers and created this little assortment of flowers that are filling that umbrella. And I really love this card. On the back, we used one of our blending brushes and created that yellow haze behind there. The metallic paper for the umbrella part, and then the little handle. So this was fun to do. We have another card we're working on, and I'll share that with you when we get that one done. So those are spellbinders. Let me see. We have a new order in from LDRS, and they're a company that I don't order that frequently from. They have a variety of things that I like. They have the Stampendable, excuse me, the little tool that you use with your MISTI or stamping tool to help make your stamping easier and stamp evenly. They have new white ones coming, so we'll have the white version. These are 3 new tags that go with the gift tags. In the past, I think we've had fall, Halloween, Christmas. There's a couple different ones. So the newest ones are the birthday. And the way these work, you stamp your design, and the tag, these are kind of your little registration marks. So if you ink that, you'll be able to line everything up. This die actually will line up in those little markings, and when you die cut it, you will get the 6 tags all in one stamp. And then on the top you can see there are little sentiments that you can add in each one of these little tags. And if for nothing else, I had mentioned just having a tag die where you get multiple designs all in one cut is actually really kind of neat to have. So we have the birthday, we have spring, so you can see how those will work. You can use these on cards and gifts. And then we have the love, but these can be used anytime. They're not necessarily Valentine's, but you can use them anytime. So those are the gift tag stack die and stamps. I put this back here because I have a tendency to lose these. We'll move that off. This is a new sentiment, the large spring word sentiment die. And you can see in the back that you're the spring in my step, sunny spring greetings, wishing you sunny days, and celebrate new beginnings. And here are a couple samples. So you have your shadow, and then you have your sentiment. And they can be used independent, like you could just use the words without the shadow if you prefer, but you always have that option. So in the background, you're going to hear Mark feverishly die cutting all these. So we'll have these out so you can see. And what's nice, a big complaint of customers is you have these dies and they don't know what they're saying, but on the back of their dies, they do have their sentiments. One of their other new dies is, and I'll have a sample down the road, but it makes this house. So you have all the different parts and pieces to create this little house. And this is a little add-on. It's just foliage. So they're like trees and shrubs. So, which I thought this is really new. So very cute. So if, this can go on the top of a tree, but it also can be created as shrubbery on your houses. A lot of people have scenery dies, and I think it's a nice little element that you can add. There's little flowers you can see, a little flower pot. You have the stem of the tree. So I thought that was pretty smart of them to create something like that. So you can see the trees. You have, in the die, you can see the veins of the branches of the trees. So it's kind of a nice little scene builder. Oh, can you just do this one in whatever color, like a solid? We have a new quilted plaid, so I'm going to have Mark do this one. These are the kind of dies that I truly love. then these are new. These are, once again, just scallop slimline background. So whether you need it for a long card or short, you just have this die that will give you multiple pieces so that you can use them together to create scallop patterns. And depending on how far you want to go, you can also offset them a little bit to get another different pattern. So they're just strips, which is nice, so you get multiple designs. And this one is called the scallop slimline background. And you can see too, like on this side, these are almost like little mini waves. So you could use the other side too. Besides the scallop, they have the zigzag. So you can create like chevron patterns. You can alternate, or if you choose, you can offset them to create kind of a cool diamond pattern. So just kind of fun designs. And the whole point of these is so that you just don't get a strip and you have to cut 6 of them. You know, you could just do one pass, you get 4. You need more than that, do another pass. So you're not multiple die cutting. Well, Mark is die cutting some of the other ones. This is a new stamp set, which we didn't have really from anybody. And did you cut one of these?
You told me to cut one of them.
Yeah, just one of them. So you have, we have a nice large number set, and they have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So we have that. And then there are the months and day of the week, once again in a smaller number set. So I thought this would be a nice addition to what we have. This is that background die, which I love, love, love. And this is the quilted plaid. This is actually the back side, and this is the front side. So you can see that really beautiful pattern design. So it's the quilted plaid. These are kind of like my, my stock dies. I use these all, they're like a go-to. When I'm making something and I feel like it's missing something, a lot of times putting a texture in the background, even white on white, is like, perfect. Just that little extra something that it's not the focus of the card, but just adds to the overall look. That's kind of what I go to. And then they have these stitch designs. They have oval, the circle, the square, and they have rectangle. Mark's doing the rectangle right now. Just one of them is good for him. Oh, he's going to do the other one. So this is part of the rectangle. So you get this nice rectangle frame, and then you can see that there's one inside in the circle and the square. There's one inside. So, and that's kind of like the opposite. So you can use them together and you can use them independently. So we have the rectangles, the ovals, the circles, and the squares. So that's it for LDRS. Next, Mona is actually, I think I might have showed you these, the new, I don't know, did I show these on Facebook?
I don't recall, but
Yeah.
I'm not doing all of them. So
No, Mona's, this is, she's picked some designs from the new release from Pink Fresh. So we're going to show those, and I also picked some older that you might have missed. So I'm going to just kind of share these with you, and then when I'm done with show and tell, she's going to pick up and do some samples. So this is a new fancy cake, which actually, if you go to their blog and stuff, they did some really sweet cards with this. So you can see you have the little scallops, so you can do a whole scallop cake. Oh, that's one of the things she's showing. And then it says, hip, hip, hooray. You got all the confetti, the candles, the little frosting banner. And then you have this great outside frame, which I tend to use all the time. We have Wish Big. We have Celebrate with the Shadow. We have Make a Wish die. And the Sentiments. This is the Birthday Sentiment stamp set, which is new. There is a die cut that goes with this. I think we're out of it, but you can always order it. They have a new birthday balloons, and you can see all the different designs already on the balloons and the strings and such, and some little sentiments. And this is the die that coordinates with it. And then in keeping with her series, this came out in the wintertime, the winter mug. So it's this basic mug. And then they had, for Halloween, you can put the little marshmallow ghost in there. You could put fall leaves, snowflakes, candy canes for each season. You can change it up. And then Valentine's Day, they had the chocolate-covered strawberry. What else was in that? Hearts, maybe?
Spoon.
A spoon.
I think there was hearts. I have it with me. So
And I love when a company does that. So it's not like a one and done. Like, you can use this over and over again. Good morning, Kim. There's a couple things you might have missed, so go back and watch, because things that I know that you like to collect. But anyway, sorry guys. So you have the spoon, this chocolate-covered strawberries, some hearts, some roses you can use at any time, little bonbons, you know, a dollop of whipped cream. So this was the Valentine.
and these would be good for cutouts, so you can make that mug a shaker.
Oh, there you go. And actually, if you have like a cookie, those would be cute on a cookie.
Right.
So the new one for this time, she has a birthday. And I thought I grabbed it. Oh yeah, it's right back here. So this is the birthday mug edition. So you have the little top that fits over the mug so that you can create a shaker out of it. Sadie is saying, Mom, stop talking and give me a treat.
I gave
Go
her a
ask
treat.
Dad. Go ask Dad. Go on. In my purse is a whole bag. You can go in my purse. Yeah. So anyways, you got the little party hats. It's your day. You have a little slice of cake. So candles. And there's some really cute samples that you'll see that will be done. And these can be used independent of the mug or with the mug. So lots of cute ideas for that. This was popular. Kim did a class, and we keep it in stock because it was a really popular stamp and die set. So you have the cupcakes, and you can see the type of font that Pretty Pink Posh uses a lot. This is another oval design. You can make that into a shaker. And this one is called Let's Party. This is an older one, and sometimes, you know, if you see this yellowing on the stamps, it doesn't affect the stamp. It's just the fluorescent lighting sometimes will actually eventually start changing the color of the polymer, but it doesn't affect the stampability. But here you go. You can see the little piñata cupcake and piñata heart, and this made a cute little card. And this one was a super popular set. It's the balloon alphabet set. So there's the balloon and then the coordinating die. And so this was a card that Kim did, and just used the, you know, the alphabet word celebrate to create this cute fun card. This is from the new release. She always does kind of a word, and then you have it's kind of doesn't it look yeah, oh, okay, it's a fill-in. It looks weird by itself, but with the die cut, it becomes the word wish. And you can see you get all the little dies to go with all these little icons. So this is from the new release, and this one is called Wish. So, so Mona's gonna, when I'm done, she'll go through those pretty pink posh again and show you some of the cards. Okay, the last, I have a couple classes. We're going to start getting back into classes this week, and I'll show you some of the things that we'll be doing. So hopefully between tonight and tomorrow, I'll be able to take a look at the calendar and plop in some dates so Jess can send the email out tomorrow. But if you ask me what my favorite papers are, right away comes to mind 49th and Market. I absolutely love that. And the other company I love is Simple Stories. And I love their vintage version of what they do. Their kind of contemporary stuff is really cute, but not something that I absolutely love. So we have some new lines that just came in. So we're getting rid of the snowflakes. They're still on sale this month, but they're put away in the back. And I had Lori start clearing out the snowflakes last night, and of course we're going home and it's snowing. I'm like, oh geez, you can't win. And but anyways, today the sun is out and melted all that snow away. So we're kind of giving a new fresh look and putting spring into the store. So this is one of their new collections. It's the Wildflower. And if you guys have been around long enough, you remember the company, My Mind's Eye. And they had some really great vintage companies or designers. And they actually partnered with Simple Stories this time. And this paper kind of intrigued me. It wasn't like something I saw right away that I loved, but when I looked at it again, I was like, this is actually really cool. So this is the first paper, and they have these different cut aparts to create cards. And we'll definitely be using some of these to put some samples on. And this is definitely like, wild asparagus from My Mind's Eye, if you remember that company, and that kind of feel and that look, that vintage color. And I really love this one. I never thought I would like gold or yellow. Remember how they used to have appliances? Maybe your grandmother had gold appliances.
I like the pink in it.
Yeah, the pink, it's something different. And then these are just different cut aparts. And the other reason that I like these, because for those of you that are doing junk journals, I think these papers are just perfect for junk journaling. And then you have the Love Greatly. And this I Live Large. And I when I ordered this, I didn't realize that those were like tigers.
Oh, because it reminds me of wallpaper.
Yeah, like old vintage, and almost maybe like with velvet on it. Actually, my mom had it was a red kind of damask velvet on one wall for many years. So, but anyway, so this one,
Is that a tiger too?
yeah, it is, but I didn't realize it when I ordered it. And then they have their bits and pieces, all their little ephemera, and all these little journaling pieces. Once again, perfect for that junk journaling. And these floral bits. When I make some samples, I'll definitely share these with you. This is a little sticker book. So you have lots of parts and pieces, letters, alphabets, whether you do junk journaling or layouts, and even on cards, all these can be used. And then we do have the 6x8 paper pad, where the designs are slightly a little bit smaller. So that's the first collection. And then you guys can let me know which one that you think I really love, because that one will take me a half hour to go through. This one, I didn't like it at first, but then we did a layout with it in a class, and then I had some ideas for a change layout. So this will be an upcoming layout class. but you get the chipboard elements. We have the page pieces to help, with your layouts. And then, this paper, once again, comes from the other collection, but I thought it went really well with this. And so those of you that are always looking for bookmarks and so on and so forth, that's kind of a cool collection. And this paper in the background. Like I said, I didn't get a lot of that one, and this one is the flea market. So for this one, we have just the collection packs. And the collection packs, you'll get the papers and you will get a sticker paper. We do have the 6x8 pad. And then this kind of goes with this collection and springtime. Yeah, and so we have the paper pad, or the paper collections. The colors are perfect for Easter and spring. So in this one, you get 2 of each, double-sided papers. And then this one, the gingham. So you can see how they work together.
That would be my favorite.
Yep. And this is my favorite. Can you see the size of the pile? This one, when they showed this, I was the first customer to order from Simple Stories, because when there is something that is very popular with Simple Stories, they do a run, and that's like one and done. Yes, because it's very expensive for them to go back and produce more paper in smaller amounts between the time frame, the shipping, and so on and so forth. So they have to kind of decide, what's going to be popular. And so when I saw this, I ordered it all. And like I said, I got my order in first. So this one is called the Simple Vintage. And what I like about this is the colors are just beautiful. They're bright, and you get the pinks and the blues and the, all those kind of like colors that after a winter of, if we call it a winter, who knows what it was, it's like, it brings you hope that all these like flowers are going to be blooming and all these colors, and it just brightens your day. So we have the new 12x12 collection pack. And then in that, these are the papers that are in there. And once again, these are great for junk journaling. They're great for bookmaking, card making, layouts. And you can just see all these like beautiful colors. So it just kind of like, yes, spring is coming. Look at this. I love this page. And yeah.
Those are called my happy colors.
Yeah, happy colors, yes. And for those of you that don't do, I could see using these in cards, cutting these up, cutting this out, you can use them. It's just not for scrapbooking. Just beautiful. And people, it's kind of like, oh, why do you put such a pretty one on the back too? Well, that makes you buy 2 sheets of paper. The tags. The front and back of the tags. Look at these butterflies. The color palette is just beautiful. All these little tags. Lucia, I can see cutting up. Inky. The typewriter keys. If you have a circle punch, you can cut these out and create words with them. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, the pink and the blue. And this great background paper. So this one has, bigger and smaller elements. Isn't that a beautiful paper? So even if you don't like the patterns, they're beautiful. So these are going on the front display. So along with all those individual papers, there is a lot of different products. We have this beautiful stencil, which is fairly new. And I know Lucia and I are going to fight over this stamp. This is their Vintage Life, but you can see they have like the grunge newspaper, the butterfly with the grunge in it, you know, the hearts. Love this one. This one is called the Simple Vintage Love and Bloom stamp. They have their chipboard elements, which they've always had. We have the page pieces. Now these are for layouts, but my thought was I'm going to show you how to make a card out of one of these little kits down the road. These just came in this week and I didn't have it in me to create. We have the foam stickers. We have the 6x8 little paper pack. And on some of the stores already forgot to order things and they're sold out. Yeah, so I'm glad I got like my order in. This is a sticker book. So once again, you have all these beautiful stickers, however you choose to use them. We have the clusters. So these are your chipboard pieces. And you can layer on top of them or use them as is, and they give you ideas how you could layer the different pieces. The chipboard frames, so for the people, that do the layouts, but I could see also doing a frame project if you have a photo that you want to put in. These frames are beautiful. But perfect for like a focus on a layout. Let's see. Oh no, I'll let you put that one in there. They have their new, these are glitter dots that match with this collection. So there's little bits of glitter. And then we have their ephemera. And this packet tends to be bigger pieces of ephemera. Perfect for layering. If you're doing mixed media, junk journaling, cards. And you have that really nice color palette. So if you're not so much into the grunge, or if you are into the grunge, you could go ahead and definitely ink on top of these. And they have their little, I think these are the bits and pieces. So once again, you get a ton of different ephemera. You can see the little pieces. So lots of fun stuff. And I'll have to look back at my notes because when this came out, my mind just kind of spun and I had a bunch of ideas. There might be a little mini book class coming with this. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back. Yeah, ton of pieces. And then this is the their floral bits. So these are beautiful for card making, and they're just a variety of different flowers that all kind of matched those papers. So beautiful elements. We won't take those out. And the last thing I wanted to show you, this is a brand new product for them. These are rub-ons. So they didn't have these in their other releases. And the way the rub-ons work, you will cut them apart and they give you the little popsicle stick. You can use a bone folder and transfer those images. So down the road, we will have a lot of, we'll have a lot of samples in the store showing you some of our takes on these new collections and some classes. We do have a card kit class that we're going to be doing. Comes in a kit. It's in the back. I forgot to grab one, but I always kind of like take it and change it up a bit because sometimes they're a little bit too. I think it's on top of it. Yeah. Nope, that's not it. Hold on 1 second. I know they're here somewhere. Oh, here. This is the card kit. We're going to be doing this as a class because I thought it would be fun. So you can do it as an in-store class or you can do a kit, but they give you all the parts and pieces. They give you the ideas, but I like to change it up a bit and possibly change things around and do my kind of take on it. So this will be an upcoming class. So I'm done with my show and tell, and Mona will watch if there's any questions. I believe all the Simple Stories is online. So if the Simple Stories is online and the LDRS. I know this week we have coming Hero Arts. We got that in. I think that's going to be available Monday, so we'll be able to show you. Oh, one of the other things. Oh, let me show you some quick classes while Mona's getting her stuff together. We have this class on Monday. It's Creating Happiness with Charlene. So if you're interested, you can call to sign up. Wednesday, you can order a kit or you can come in and do the class. This is the layout class that we have. It's a little bit different than what we've done, and this is using Pretty Pink Posh. Natalie, I have not seen a Shamrock embossing folder. Maybe years ago, but currently, yeah. I think there's we might have a Shamrock die cut, which you can always use with your tan mat and do that. I'll look while Mona is doing her thing. But this is a layout class. This will be Wednesday. And we finally got all the parts and pieces for the book class. So I'm tentatively thinking of doing this either Saturday or the following Monday. So watch for that date once I make a decision. This class will be coming up, the Little Elizabeth Crafts book. Kind of a little bit of a mixed media. A Shamrock stencil, I'll emboss that too, yes. They don't emboss as deeply as a die cut, but that would work too. But I don't even know who has a Shamrock
Stencil.
Yeah.
I know a couple companies with that.
They're like, yeah. And the last thing, Lucy, if you want to open that, you could take it out. I only have a couple of these, but you can pre-order them. I cannot ship them though. This is by LDRS. This is mine. So.
This is mine. I'm not sharing it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You can have it.
This is a magnetic glass plate. It is, well, this is 20 inches, so it's probably 24.
It's huge.
Yeah, 24 by probably 16. In it comes with the magnet ruler, and then you also get these little pegs. They're not super strong, but they will hold things in place. I'm not sure going forward what the new price is going to be. They are like $129.99, and that's a discounted price. I think going forward they might be $169.99, but I don't know if she's going to give us the discount again. So, but she did sell out. So I just wanted to share this with you. So this is what you're going to see. Well, you might not see it at my house because it's going to be on my workspace. Because I think it's just beautiful. I mean, kind of matches those flowers from the new Simple Stories. So we just want to share that new glass, the magnetic glass mat. I think that's it for me. I'm going to slide over, start putting my stuff away, and Mona's going to take over. Thanks, guys.
Good morning, everybody. Sharon certainly had a lot of show and tell today. It's like, wow, look at all that stuff. She mentioned that I'm going to be working with Pretty Pink Posh. Their new release is a birthday release, and I'll be working with it the next couple of weeks. because who doesn't need birthday cards all year round? I was kind of excited about this rather than have a theme or Easter or St. Patrick's Day or whatever. It was nice that it was the birthday and that you can use it over and over again. They had these really cool stencils, and I love stencils. I played with 2 of them. I have to find out where I put my samples now. I played with the cake, the hats. I didn't use the ice cream because I wasn't ready. To me, ice cream is more summer. Granted, it is a party thing, and I will play with it. But the cake and the hat I fell in love with. So I'm just seeing where I put my samples. And I know I had them in there. They are. So the cake I used the most. It was my fave. And here's the hat. Now the nice thing about stencils is that you can do them however you want. You don't necessarily have to use the whole stencil. And as I was packing these up today to bring them in, I realized I never went this way with the hats. I always went this way because I'm so used to that style. And then I made a couple of these. Now in this one, I'm going to bring it up close, the cake one, and you'll see all these splatters. As usual, if you know me, I used my little kids' sparkly watercolor set, which was $8.99, and it had like 12, 14, 16, I don't know how many colors, quite a few different colors. And so it's got these little gold flecks. And then you can see all the detail. There's the cake, the candles, the wicks. So I did make a couple of these, and I'll be making more cards with them. This one I used and I cut off a portion because that's another thing you can do. You could also use your stencils to do inside your card, so you could run a border if you want. For the card that I used this on, I made a shaker card. So I'm going to show you that. Let me kind of move these out of the way for a minute. This is the shaker card. Not complete yet because I wanted to show you. Hope I don't start bleeding. I put those little diamonds in because my grandkids love to make those diamond pictures. So I always have leftovers, plus I have a few bottles that I just bought for shakers. So it's mixed with the, let's see which one it was. It's mixed with this cake dye right here. Hope you can see it. So in here is the little shaker elements, which I thought was adorable. And you can do it in any color. So I was working with a bunch of different colors, and every time I worked with a color, I cut out some. So you can see there's all different shapes and sizes, just like it shows. And you can use those for other things, because there's the hearts in there. And when we get to another place, you'll see I use the tiny stars, and I use these little like rectangle things on the balloon on one of the cards. They're just adorable, I think. So that's what they're small too. Ooh, you know what? I was packing my stuff this morning, and I don't know if you can see it. I cut myself right there, and I didn't realize I cut myself. I have no idea how. So I was getting blood on everything. And it was like, whoa! So I see I have a little blood there. I apologize. So let me push this aside so you know that's a little shaker. So that's how I did this with the diamonds in this. And then using, I have so many dies out, using this from another set, which was this set here, the add-on for the coffee mug or the winter mug. Using that, I cut out 2 circles. It's Your Day is in here, if you can see it. It's Your Day is in here. And so is the little cake right there. So I added that on. And before I added it to the card, I wanted you guys to see the shaker. The shaker I did use. I have so many things out here. I did use the, here it is, Waffle Flower card window. It's 4 by 5 1/4. So, and then if you notice the frame, Sharon talked about the frame earlier. The frame is from here. It's a 5.5 by 4.25, so it's perfect, fits on perfectly. So once I did my window and adhered it to the base, then with double-sided tape, I adhered the frame. And I love shakers. Depending on how you open it, like this card, I wanted to make sure that the shaker shook down. So when they shut it, it would go like that and really shake. There's somewhere I want it to go this way, but this one I wanted to go this way. And so now I can add this. I put double-sided tape on, so we can finish this card up. And I have a birthday card. Yay! So I'm gonna center this, I think, right about like that. I don't want to move it over just a little. Looks pretty straight. And there we have one shaker card. And that was using a couple different dies. This die, and of course, the stencil. So there's our shaker card. Okay. Don't forget about these windows. These windows are very convenient. Just so you know, there's only one layer of extra plastic, and that's on the outside. For a couple of minutes, I was trying to get it off the inside. So I guess there isn't any. The next one I'm going to show you is the mug. I think we'll go with the mug. Now, this was the new one that came out for the birthdays. It's very, very cute. And you'll notice in here, it has an insert, so you could make a shaker or a window. I used it. So what I did was I taped it inside of here, and I'll show you what I mean. Excuse me. I think I had little sniffles this morning. So I took it and I put it in here because I knew I was going to cut a whole bunch. And then because I know this is a cut line, I kind of used my tape and just put it around here and into here so that it would stay for the number I needed. Because if you're making a shaker and you're using this as the frame, then you want to make sure you're cutting them all pretty close to the same. So once I did that, I started cutting. In order for me to make the frame size I like, I need 6 of these. 5 are going to get glued together. And then my clear window goes in here. And then this goes on top. I make most of my shakers as elements, as I've mentioned before, because then I can decide where I want it, here, there, or anywhere. So I'm going to glue all these together, all 5 of them. I'm going to glue together. Then I'm going to add on my window, my acetate, and then I'll glue this over. When I do my acetate, I don't bother with the handle. I just trim that off so I have less to worry about. And so you end up with, and I did this one in pink with the acetate, you end up with this. I don't know if you can see the window. And then you can fill it in the back, and then you would just cover it. Now, and like I said, I like to do that because I never know where I'm going to put stuff. I will be making a card with this, a birthday card. So, and then I have a choice, really. I can either back it with this if I want. So it's pink, then with the squiggles. Or I could actually just put this insert behind it if I wanted. Or I can let the design on my base be the backing. I don't usually do that because that means that it can't be an element for me. So I wanted to show you that. I used the extra 1/8 inch thin tape to do that, which worked out perfectly, and I will be doing a couple samples with that cutout. So that was using this mug. I didn't use the Valentine set in this, but it's part of the collection, so they're all stored together. And then I also use these. Now, while we're looking at the add-on, I did make oops. I made a slimline, standard size, not mini. I just got to get this off. So let me show you that. this was a busy card. Took me time to figure it out. I actually saw this online and tried to duplicate it. I didn't get it exactly like I saw it, but close enough. So I was very pleased when it was done. I hope you can see the whole card. I'm just gonna move this up a little so you can see the whole card. So the Wish Big was one of the sentiments that they had. I'm pretty sure it was a standalone, which I don't have with me right now. I don't see it in any of the sets. I'm not going to worry about it. So here's the Wish, here's the Big. The mugs, of course, were from the original set. And if you notice, when you cut this, there is that slit there so you can stick things in. You could seal it up if you wanted, but I like the sticking things in. So all these additional things, except for the confetti, came with the add-on. So you can see the party hat up there. Here's where, oh, this one says, I don't know what it says. It's your day. That's what it says. It's your day. The candles. So they give you the solid, the stripes, the wick, and the fill-ins. This is like a party stick, which is right here. The star. And if you notice the little star, that came from the confetti. And then on the balloons, you'll notice I have like little highlights. Those also came from the confetti. The cake has layers. I think that's everything that I used. I used, oh, and the balloons, sorry. So this set, I used every single piece from, because I did use It's Your Day on the other card. So it says, It's Your Day. So there's that one. So I will be making more samples, because birthday, who doesn't need birthday cards? And then Wish was the next one. The big words that Sharon was talking about. Here's the stamp. And if you took the die, which we'll do, and laid it over the stamp, we'll get this out of the way so it's not distracting. All right, so we're going to get the die, and it fits right over this. So what I've seen a lot of, and I will be making a couple probably, is that they'll stamp this stamp on a piece of paper, and what they do lots of times is they'll use embossing powder. So they'll emboss those little details, and then sometimes they color them in, sometimes they leave them solid. But this could be behind your words. And then with the dies, you get all these cute little things. So you got the presents, the ice cream cones, all this. So you can color. Most of you know that I'm not a big colorer. I love to die cut though, but I will, because these are tiny, probably make a card that we have to color. And they do have a saying, make a, and they do have the die for it. So you can die cut this out. So it'll have a shadow, which I like. I love anything that you can die cut with a shadow. So with saying that, I just want to put this back so I don't lose any pieces. I try to keep my sets together when they have coordinating dies. With that, I did make a card. Now I don't know if you can see it, how shiny it is. I love it. See? So when I stamped the cakes on this, it literally stamped them on a pink background. So you can do a color background. Light maybe be best when you're doing this, but I did use a very pale pink, and then I went with my, I used, I think, was a brighter pink. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure this was bubblegum, and I'm not sure, this had like a funny name to it, but they were all IOs. I use IO a lot. I like to use IO's inks because it's a hybrid, so it's, to the best of my knowledge, once it's a hybrid, it's supposed to be waterproof when it dries. And then I have Wish Big, and the Big came in one of the sets, and not, I think it might have, where did it come? Oh, those were extra words that I bought. So, and this one opens this way. but there you have that one. I don't know if you can see, I even sparkled the candles themselves. And this was white, and I just used the Delicata Golden Glitz to put the color on. You can do that too. So there's those. I just want to let you know this bag one, it can be used as a gift card or a very tiny bag. I will be making a couple. What I thought with one of them is, see how the handle's on here? Rather than put it on there, I thought I could add that to the back of another piece of paper, and then the gift card would be attached to that, and then when you pull the handle, the gift card will come out. So you'll be seeing samples with that. Let's see if I showed you. Yes, I did. Okay, so now, real quickly, I want to talk about, oh, sorry, I forgot to show you guys this one. This, I need your help. I'm the most indecisive person when it comes to card making, especially if I have too many options. So this one is done using the cake, and that's where I partially cut. The Celebrate came with the cake also, if I'm not mistaken. Or, yeah, because I didn't use that one, so it came with the cake. So here's the cake, and I've got it already. And it's going to go here. I've done it in layers. So I have the one layer, and then I have 2 white layers because I wanted it raised. This will go right here. But my question to you guys is, I'm going to move this over a little, is I have these 2 strips. And being the indecisive person I am, I thought, do I go like that? Take a good look. We'll center this a little better. Okay, there's one choice. Do I go like this and just use gold, because then it would kind of bring out that gold, but then I thought it was too much? Or do I use both? Now that one for sure I don't like, but what if I went the other way? Or do we go like this? That one I kind of like. So, like I said, I'm very indecisive lots of times. So let me know what you think. And once it's done and I see, I will post it. But that's that one. I mean, there's more uses for this cake. I saw somebody used it as a to from tag. So you have the cake, and then on the back they had, to from or whatever. So that's really cute. So let me move this out of the way. And now I'll show you, I'm going to do a little, we'll put all these cards away for now so I don't lose them. Pieces. We'll do that. So because I don't know if you saw this real closely. In the hat layer, there of course is the solid. Let me get that out. So that is layer A, is the solid. So it's this one. Then the next is the print, so the stripes are the polka dots, and that is this one. Then after that is the topper. And then there's also the star background. So the first one I did, I don't know if you can see it or not. Oh, maybe a little. I tried doing the stars, and I used this from Lawn Fawn. However, I don't know how old it is, so I'm not sure. It just wouldn't come out of the tube, so I tried scraping it and dotting it, and I finally said, oh, well, it's good enough. It's got dots. So the next time when I did this one, because I wanted to do a partial, and because I was thinking of cutting them in strips, but then I thought, oh, wouldn't it have been cute if I would have done a row up here and a row down there. But when I did this one, I used some glitter paste. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to tell on these. Yeah, you can see it a little. The glitter paste, and scraped it down real easily. It's easy to do. And now I have my stars. So when you're doing this, just make sure your glue or your stencil paste is kind of fresh so it'll go on smoothly. The other thing I realized when I was doing this is small areas like the top or the pom-pom on the hats. Don't use a big brush. Just use a small brush. I mean, I have this like dotter brush. I don't know where it came from. One day I was in my room and I said, oh, that'll be perfect. But see how tiny it is? Sharon might even have these in the store. I don't know, because I don't know where it came from. But it's perfect, because then you're only hitting the section you want instead of, you know, going all over and trying to get it. So these are the colors I used, and you will notice that I have brushes for each color, and that's because IO is one that I use the most, and when I want a consistent color, I have to use the same color on the brush. If I run out of brushes, then I just wash them. So on this hat one that I'm going to show you, I used lights and darks. Same color family, but lights and darks. So we have the Seafoam and the Aqua. This is when I wish I would have had my little holder that's by Waffle Flowers. It holds 4 different, actually I think it holds 8 total. So 4 in the lids or 8 different colors depending on how you want it. And then we have lavender and violet. Chartreuse, so I'm going light dark. Turf, goldenrod, and yellow ochre. I hope I said that right. Everybody tries to get me to say it right. And then I have all my brushes, plus we'll be using this. Now I know you guys all know how to stencil, and I just want to show you my style. Normally I would be on a Tim Holtz mat, and if I was on the Tim Holtz media mat, it's so sticky because it's a silicone that all I have to do is I'll take my base paper and I put my sticky note, or this is, you know, the tape of the sticky notes. You can see I have dogs in the house. And I'll tape it the opposite way. I'm going to stencil on this side so my sticky part's up like this. Reason being, I'm going to put my stencil on it. Now for this one, I'm actually going to start differently. I'm going to do my tassel first on this first layer. And did I do it the long way? Let's do it the long way. Let's do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do my tassel first. Paper towel stuck to it. Because I want my tassels at the top. So let's, but we still want it lined up pretty good. So we're going to go like that. Move it over just a bit. So this one right here fits your cardstock pretty good. So even though the stencil's 6x6, the area is probably 5 1/4 by a little more. Maybe it's 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So once I have that down, on my Tim Holtz mat, that's all I have to do. And the stencil's not going to shift on the paper. It's going to go all over on the table. So just to, because I don't have that mat. And that mat is so easy to clean off, too. Sticky, but it's easy to clean off. I use a baby wipe on it and cleans it off real nice. So what I'm going to do here now is just so that as I'm showing you, the whole thing doesn't shift. So I'll use my favorite yellow tape and we should be good. So the stencil's not going to shift off of this because I've got it on the tape. But so what I want to do first is I really want to do this, because this is, I want that at the top, and then I'm going to move it down. I'll substitute the hat, but I'll show you. So look how nice this goes on too. It takes a little longer to dry, but notice it's a small area, which is nice. And look how quickly it goes in. I love, usually when I stencil, I really like to use Tim Holtz, but it takes a little longer to dry, and it is a bit messier. All right, so I got the top row, and I'm going to set this aside for a minute. And I'm going to pull this off. Easier said than done. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pull this one off. Now I'm going to go right to my main hat this time because I want it right on the tassels. And I can line that up.
Sorry.
It's lined up there. It's lined up there. I can push it down, push it down. Looks pretty even. I'll put that tape back on the corner. Got one more down here so it doesn't move all over my board. And now I can randomly pick. I'm only going to show you, maybe I'll do all the one row, same color. Nah, that would be too easy. So we'll take this one first because it should go a little faster. I'll ink her up. I hope you guys can see. I probably should have moved it up, but. And make sure when you're stenciling, I'm sure you've heard me that, you want to go left, right, so you catch all the edges, not just, you know, going from one side to the other, but you want to catch all the edges. So we'll do that one. We'll go to this one. The stenciling is very relaxing too. So I'm only going to do the top row right now. Although, you know what? The way it's placed, I could do this bottom row. So let's do the bottom row too, since it's there. Because I only want 2 rows. I only want a top row and a bottom row. And this is the nice thing about stencils. What I had planned to do, but unfortunately, I could not find my dinosaur set because I thought these hats on the dinosaurs would be adorable. So I wanted to do that, but of course I couldn't find my dinosaur set. Kind of aggravating, you know, when you know you have something and you can't find it, but that's fine. All right, so we got the basin for this color. So I'm gonna move that aside and put the lid back on. So I'm done with that one. And I love the chartreuse. Chartreuse is nice. And once again, these are all IO inks. And I'm kind of being careful because I know I have other colors. And I don't want to contaminate anything. And I'm just randomly picking my colors too. You know, at this point in time, I have no thoughts of where the colors are going. I hope you guys can see that. I'd like to move this up a little so you can, okay. And maybe we'll do, I love the green and the blue together. It's one of my favorite combos too. All right, so we got the chartreuse done. And put the lid back on. I'm a very messy stamper, so let's do lavender next. My lavender, I don't know if I need to re-ink it or what, because it seems to take like forever to get it to work. So I think I'm going to put my lavender here. So you will be seeing more cards from this birthday. I think I'm here Friday again. So I'll try to get a few more cards done with this collection because this collection is awesome. Really gotta. You know, and when you think you don't have enough ink, when you pull up the paper, you say, oh, I was fine. And now goldenrod. There. It's a nice bright yellow, isn't it? Goldenrod. So these are done. And put the lid back in. So now I can lift this off because I only want the top and the bottom. So we'll get the yellow tape off here, yellow tape off here, and then we'll lift this up. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I caught that. Oh, well. I could erase it, I think. So I'm more or less done with this, and I'm going to show you how I clean these real quick in a minute. So I can either go back and top these, which I think I'll do right away is top these. Would be this. And I think it does not matter as long as they're lined up. Easier said than done. No, it's got to be this row. Yeah, I think. The lining up is probably my hardest part. But I think I got to come over just a little and down. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. So again, we'll put our tape down so it doesn't shift on this board. But if you don't have a media mat, you know, a silicone media mat, like, because I know Waffle Flowers has them and they work fine, and you want one that's good, it'll hold all your bitty pieces and everything, because I don't know what kind of finish it is or anything, but it holds everything. You're asking what brushes? I just have a whole bunch of brushes, no special brand. And these particular brushes came with tops. So I've had them for a while. But I do like the fact that, you know, I can top them because, like I said, I'm a messy stamper. All right, so I'm going to put this away just so I don't get ink on it. We'll put this one away. All right, so now we're actually done with this one here. Put that up and out of the way. And then our next part is this. So I think I probably, did I go like this? And it lined up. You can see. I'm just trying to line it up like it's supposed to be. So that side's good. That looks pretty good. Good enough. There. And then we'll stick this down again. Now I'm not going to do the stars on this one, just because I don't have my stuff that I use. And so again, you know, I'm just going to match my colors. So I'll take the aqua. Put it on all my aquas. Almost put it on a place where there wasn't anything. This one's, the aqua shows up really nice, doesn't it? Just going over, making sure I caught all the edges. Violet. That'll come out real nice too, the violet. As I do more stencils, I collect more brushes. Because, like I said, I like to have one for each color. I don't want to mix the color, and sometimes you end up mixing the color. And I don't want to muddy the color, so that's why I actually assign. But I assign as I use them. I don't, you know, like buy enough for a set and then assign them all, because I have colors I've never used in all my ink sets. So, and I don't mix a hybrid with a regular ink because, sorry, I'm losing my concentration. because they dry differently. Now a hybrid, I'll wash it out every once in a while, but sometimes they do get stiff because it's a hybrid. It dries differently than your dye inks. Your dye inks, upon water, they'll run. So, the brushes are easy to clean that way. All right. So the only one I have left then is my goldenrod. I'll get that done. And then I will show you how I clean my stencils. I know that Jennifer McGuire, she has a bottle of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, that she puts into a spray bottle. I would probably forget it's rubbing alcohol and squirt it on something. So, So what I use, all right, let's see. There we go. I only have that one blemish, but. So now I have 2 rows, and I can put like a saying in here, like big celebrate, or maybe it could be wish or whatever. I would go back and add the stars, but like I said, I don't have my media, so I'm not going to add them. But you could add these stars to whatever. These stars you don't have to necessarily just use with the hat, because it's a stencil. You put them wherever you want, Same with the hats. You could use 1 or 2. Stencil inside your card, outside your envelope, whatever. If you're going to do it on the outside of your envelope, just watch and make sure that it's not going to run because of water. So here's this done. And now I have these dirty stencils. I've always had a bottle of sanitizer by me. Excuse me. But every once in a while, I'll use something different. But I had this bottle of sanitizer by me. Bath and Body. And it's a squirter. And it's the hand sanitizer. So all you do is boop, boop, boop. Give it a squirt. Keep your stencil flat. Cleans it off. Not only does it clean it off, but it smells wonderful. So, and it cleans your glass mat off. So if you have this, or you can even use the gel if you want. I just love the spray, and so when I open my stencils, they smell wonderful. And so now that's clean. We'll do the next one. And because it is alcohol-based, it dries too. It dries fast. And then if I wanted, I could go right back in now and use a different color and start a new set. Because it's the alcohol, these are clean right away. I didn't have to soak them. Sharon's going to have a nice clean mat. And when I take these out of the bag, they smell wonderful too. I don't know what scent this is that I have in here. Can't tell, but it's a good one. And look at that, all clean. On my rag. This will dry on my rag real fast too. And when you're cleaning off your stencils, just a reminder, don't hold them up in the air like this to clean them off, because you're bound to get snagged. Make sure they're on a nice, smooth, flat surface, and press like you were going to stencil with them. And there they are, all clean. So like I said, I will be doing more. I will go back through and look and see what colors everybody thought for my trim. And probably Friday I'll have some more samples of this wonderful set. Maybe I'll even do an ice cream cone one. But honest to God, this is probably the best set I've ever seen for birthdays. So many options, so many ways to do with it. Get to pick all your own colors. And if you're like me and don't like to color, then you're stenciling. And you can use your stencil in multiple ways. So there's the way Mona does it. I hope you enjoyed this. I think I've told you everything I wanted. If you have any questions, you can post them. And I will see them. And I'll respond when I'm done working today. And thank you for watching me. Have a good week. And hopefully we won't have any snow. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.